Hey guys, welcome to another video. This is part 14, I believe, of my One Piece overview series. Last video, I went over the first half of Marineford, and today I'm going to be going over the second half of Marineford. And volume 59 and 60. So 59 has most of Marineford, and 60 shows Luffy's backstory as a little kid. So yeah, this is the end of the time skip, actually, which is super exciting because I finally get to talk about the post time skip. But first, question of the day. I wanted to have a little discussion about Ace. What do you think about Portgas the Ace? Or Gold the Ace. To me, honestly, Ace is a cool character and everything. He has probably the coolest devil fruit in the entire show, or the entire series. But let's be real. Let's be real for a couple minutes. Ace is just a plot device for Luffy's growth. He's a cool character and all, but he doesn't really do much other than progress Luffy's character. Which is it's good enough because there's a lot of series that do that. One character that comes to mind immediately is Rin from Naruto. She's a plot device. That's all she is. And I think that spells true for Ace as well. And don't get me wrong, I like Ace, right? Ace is a super cool character, and his death hurts a lot. But that's all he is, unfortunately. Because he shows up once, then he comes back and he dies, right? But yeah, that was my thoughts on Ace. Mind you, that's my opinion, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about Ace. So write that down in the comments below. But yeah, let's take a look at the volume covers. This is volume 59. And volume 60. Even though I split up Marineford into two different videos, this one might be a little bit shorter because most of it is going to be me talking about volume 59. So yeah, let's get into it. And right off the bat, we get this I was going to say magma. Akainu punches a hole through Ace. And yeah, it's really heartbreaking to see this happen to Ace after Luffy saving him. And you can see that Garp is definitely distraught about this. He says, "Keep holding me down, Sengoku. If you don't, I'll kill Sakazuki." And I think that's a really good character moment for Garp, because Garp is strong enough to be an admiral. Him saying that, he's very confident in saying that. I think Garp is stronger than Akainu. Or maybe he was saying that out of rage or whatever, but I think Garp is stronger than Akainu. The only reason that Garp he is admiral level, but he's not an official admiral. And the only reason behind that is because he doesn't want to work directly with the world nobles. So he definitely has a more liberal sense of justice in this series. But yeah, I really like Garp for that mainly, because he definitely resembles Luffy in that way. And Ace thanks Luffy for loving him, and Whitebeard and his family and everything, despite the fact that he had such bad blood in his veins, and that he was the son of the Pirate King. And this scene is really tough for me to get through, because I have two brothers of my own, and man, I don't want to even think about it, but just thinking about something like this happening to either of them is just, it really gets to me, because I would do anything for my little brother, especially. Um, I don't want to get too personal here, but my older brother, he wasn't really around in my life. So when my little brother was born, I did everything that I could to be an older brother to him. And I don't know, I think it goes both ways. Just seeing Luffy's reaction to his brother's death is really tough to look at and take in. And Ace, Luffy, he's traumatized. He's frozen and he can't move. And I think that it's so tough to get through, especially watching it. Just reading it is really hard, but watching it was even harder. And then Akainu, he blows part of Whitebeard's head off, which is crazy. And he's still able to run around and run rampant. And then there's Blackbeard's crew. And then I think this is that famous moment. Oh yeah, they're like ganging up on Whitebeard, which is crazy. And I feel like Teach is definitely the embodiment of evil in this world, because he played a facade for I don't know how many years while he was on Whitebeard's ship, but he had like an extensive knowledge of devil fruits, and he was looking specifically for the Yami Yami no Mi, the dark fruit, because he probably knew what it could do, right? Nullified devil fruit powers, and we'll see this right now. But I think his devil fruit has something to do with him being able to hold multiple devil fruits. And then there's that famous moment, the One Piece is real. Whitebeard's last words. And then it's such a good arc, man. That's why I split it up into two different videos. Even in death, even with half his face gone, he would never fall. He will forever be remembered as a monster for the way he destroyed his enemies that day. In this one battle alone, he suffered 267 sword wounds, was struck by 152 bullets, and 46 cannon blasts. And yet, neither that mighty body nor his pirate's pride suffered even one coward's wound. Oh, man. Whitebeard. There will never be another Whitebeard ever. Such a good character. Such a good arc, man. So many things at once. And then, well, yeah, and I still don't know how this happened. I thought they were going to reveal how it happened eventually, but they still haven't, which was crazy. But Blackbeard, he takes Whitebeard's devil fruit. And I didn't know about this happening. I said it in another video, but I had a lot of things spoiled for me in One Piece, and this was one of them that was not spoiled. So I was like, are you serious? How did he take Whitebeard's devil fruit? And I was shocked. I was shocked, to be honest. And then Whitebeard says, "My era begins." So I'm going to speed a little bit through it because there's some stuff that I want to talk about. Oh, and then Law shows up to take Luffy. And then this was crazy to look at in the anime. To have the sea split, that was really crazy. And Blackbeard is such a like an imposing force, man. It's insane. And then Kobe, he's speaking his mind, right? And Akainu, he goes straight for him, wanting to do exactly what he did to Ace. And then Shanks shows up. In the anime, they didn't show it right away. When the Akainu's attack was stopped, and I was like, "Who's that? Who could that be?" And then it said that it was Shanks, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Shanks is here!" That was crazy. Shanks and his crew shows up, so it's and Shanks, being as powerful and influential as he is, he shows up just to stop the Paramount War, and it works. It works. He could have gone all out, but just his presence there was enough to stop the war. And it's insane. We'll see to the burial of Whitebeard and Ace. You've already broadcast the battle throughout the world. I won't allow you to go on making a spectacle of their deaths. And he says this war is over, which is crazy. So that was the end of the Paramount War, or the War of the Best. It's not the end of Marineford just yet, but I would call this post Marineford. So Luffy, he wakes up from his coma, I guess, and he remembers. At first, he's thinking that it was a bad dream, and he remembers that Ace did die, and he starts going on a rampage, and he's just distraught and everything, and it's tough to look at. It was even tougher to watch. And then we see like a short little backstory between Ace and Luffy, and it's kind of simple. And then we get Sabo's first appearance. I'm gonna speed through this a little bit. It just shows how they came to be brothers. They're not blood brothers, they're sworn brothers. But yeah, that was volume 59. Then we'll go on to volume 60. And their dream is to form their own pirate crew and go off on adventures and everything. But then, of course, Sabo dies. He dies, apparently. Right here. And I'll talk. I feel like Sabo is another plot device. Or, I'm not sure. I'll talk about Sabo a little bit more in, whatchamacallit, in Dressrosa. But there's some other stuff that I feel is a little bit more important that I want to talk about here. But yeah, Sabo's little ship is shot down and he dies. Or he, from what they know, he dies. And Luffy and Ace make a promise to each other to get stronger. And here's one of the toughest panels, because Luffy, I've said this before, but his biggest fear is being weak. And that's all he's feeling right now. He says, me, become king of the pirates? I'm so weak. And oh, and this scene is really hard too, where Garp confronts Dadan, and she holds him responsible for Ace's death, and then Ace and Whitebeard's graves. So this is one of my favorite scenes in the entire series. It's my second most favorite. It's close to first, but that one goes to the Straw Hats' goodbye to Vivi. But Luffy, he's on a rampage, right? And Jinbei tries to smack some sense into him. And Luffy won't listen to him. He's still so upset over Ace's death. And Jinbei he tells Luffy to remember what he still has. And I think this scene in the anime is a lot better, so I'll go ahead and play a little clip of that scene.
Luffy! 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 Luffy-san! Luffy!
So yeah, I've said it before, but the One Piece adaptation, the One Piece anime adaptation, is definitely one of the best in history. And Jinbei tells Luffy to remember what he still has, and Luffy says he still has his crew. And it's such a good scene, man, because I think this is definitely this can definitely be translated into the real world, where even if you've lost everything, you have to remember what you still have right in front of you, right? And Luffy is just still so distraught over Ace's death that he fails to remember what he still has, and he still has his crew. And that's a really good page spread. I love this moment. The anime version is a lot better. And he tells Jinbei that he wants to see his friend so badly. But he knows that he has to get stronger before he can do that. And so Rayleigh gives Luffy a suggestion. And we already know what that is exactly. But that's to put off meeting up again at Sabaody for another 2 years. Instead of 3 days, 2 years, basically. So every one of his crewmates can get stronger. And he goes to Marineford to give a message to his crew. And he did it in a way that only his crewmates could understand the message, right? So it's showing all the Straw Hats reacting to Luffy's message, and showing like the islands that they're at. So Luffy, he goes to Marineford to give his respects to Ace and Whitebeard. I think it'll show it in this volume, but I'm not sure. Right here. So he has that. He has 3D, 2Y written on his arm here, but he has 3D crossed out. So 3D, 2Y, which is, it's telling his crew that not to meet up in 3 days at Sabaody, but to meet up in 2 years at Sabaody. So yeah, that's the end of the time skip, or the pre-time skip of One Piece. And let me see if I can get a couple pages of volume 61. So it still goes on to volume 61. But yeah, of course, it shows all the Straw Hats making a vow to get stronger before they meet up again in 2 years. Usopp gets all fat and he needs to lose weight and tone up again. Chopper, he wants to become more knowledgeable as a doctor, and everybody has their own goals to surpass in 2 years at the Subodi Archipelago. And then there's Luffy's perseverance to get stronger, because that's all he wants, you know? To protect himself and to protect his friends. He does everything for his friends and the people he cares about. And the best way for him to do that is to get stronger. So that was the pre-time skip. Man, I don't know what to say. It's One Piece is definitely... Well, sorry about that. My alarm went off and it stopped the recording. So I've got about like 5 minutes before the next one rings. But yeah, One Piece is definitely one of the greatest stories like ever told. And you'll get that from a lot of people, myself included. But it really is one of the best stories ever. I might even argue to say that it's the best piece of fiction written ever. And if you can get behind the anime aspect of it, you can get behind the goofy art style, you'll definitely see what myself and others are talking about. But yeah, volume 60. Volume 60. We still have about 50 other volumes to get through. But yeah, that was the One Piece pre-time skip. Such a good series, man. I can't put it into words. I really can't. But yeah, question of the day. What do you guys think about Ace? I personally think that he's just a plot device, but he's super cool. That doesn't mean I don't like him, but that's all he is, to be honest. But yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this series as much as I am, because I'm a huge fan of One Piece. Like right off the bat, I love this series so much. But yeah, that was part 14 of my One Piece overview series. I'll see you guys in the next one. Off to the new world. Peace.